Hey, Peter.
Hey, how's it going? I'm getting the live stream going and getting everything into alt space. And I am also getting the Discord server set up. So just give me a moment. You know what to do, Eli. Take it away. Great to see you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome, everybody, to today's Music News Power Hour, where we discuss music industry related news, everything that's fit to listen to and discuss. Make sure that you use the plus sign at the bottom of the room to ping your friends into the room so that they can listen in and join the discussion. We'll be having a roundtable, discussion about each headline. If there's anything that you'd like to add, you can raise your hand to join the discussion after the opening segment of the show. We're going to be jumping into the countdown here shortly. Just a reminder, today's conversation is being recorded and broadcast. If you'd like to tune in and watch the video, you can join us on your favorite streaming platform online or visit musicindustrycity.com. We're going to get started here shortly. The countdown will count us in, and then we'll be taking a look at today's breaking music news. Thanks for joining us. I love it. I just want to say hi to everybody in the room. Eric, JY, Eli, Mike, Wayne, Rachel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be on the planet right now. Welcome to the Music News Power Hour. And here we go with our countdown. Let's get started.
How you doing? Welcome to the Music News Power Hour here on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. And today we are going to be talking about Blackout Tuesday, 1 year later. What's changed? What hasn't? YouTube has paid $4 billion to the music industry. The other turntable gets $2 million in funding. We have some live music updates and what will happen to live streaming as we go back into live concerts and festivals, plus your daily Spotify update. And hey, let's welcome my co-host, Eli Window. Angela Randall has the day off. Eli, how are you doing? Great to see you.
It's great to see you too, Peter. I'm having a great day and I'm excited to see some of these headlines. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're going to start off today with On This Day in History. On this day in 2011, June 3rd, American singer-songwriter Andrew Gold died in his sleep, aged 69 from a heart attack. He had the 1977 US number 7 single Lonely Boy, 1978 UK number 5 single Never Let Her Slip Away, and was a member of Wax in memory. On this day, 2016, we lost English folk musician and singer-songwriter Dave Swarbrick, who died aged 75. His work for the group Fairport Convention from 1969 has been credited with leading them to produce their seminal album Elysian Leaf in 1969, which initiated the electric folk movement, also in memory. Moving on, birthdays today. Born this day, 1926, in Newark, New Jersey, Erwin Allen Ginsberg, a leading figure in the Beat Generation. He first met Bob Dylan in 1963, and they remained lifelong friends. In 1971, Ginsberg and Dylan collaborated on a series of poetry readings set to music. Allen Ginsberg is one of the figures in the background for the iconic film promo of Bob Dylan card-flipping the lyrics of Subterranean Homesick Blues. Also born this day in 1942, American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and record producer Curtis Mayfield. What a legend. Born this day in 1956, Danny Wilde, singer-songwriter from American pop rock duo The Rembrandts, who had the 1990 US Top 20 hit Just the Way It Is, Baby, and the 1995 UK number 3 single I'll Be There For You, theme from Friends. If you watched Friends on TV, I know you know that Rembrandts hit I'll Be There For You. Born this day, 1961, Elle DeBarge, singer from American family group DeBarge. Also born this day, 1962, David Cole, from American group CNC Music Factory, who had the 1991 UK number 4 single, Things That Make You Go, and the 1991 US number 1 single, Gonna Make You Sweat, which a lot of people call Everybody Dance now, if you're familiar with the hit. Born this day, 1962, David Cole from CNC Music Factory. Also born this day, 1974, Kelly Jones, vocals, guitar from Welsh rock band Stereophonics. Happy birthday. Moving on this day in history, June 3rd, 1968, Valerie Solanas shot Andy Warhol and art critic and curator Mario Amana at Warhol's studio in New York City. Solanas had been to see Warhol after asking for the return of a script which had apparently been misplaced. Warhol was seriously wounded in this attack. He barely survived. Crazy day. On this day in history, 1970, the Kinks' Ray Davies was forced to make a 6,000-mile round trip from New York to London to record one word in a song. Davies had to change the word Coca-Cola to Cherry Cola on the band's forthcoming single Lola due to an advertising ban at BBC Radio. On this day, 2019, Miley Cyrus was promoting her latest EP, She Is Coming, with condoms. Fans who bought her $20 her $20 branded condoms, would receive a digital download of her new music, Miley Cyrus, and She Is Coming from 2019. And also this day in 2019, court paperwork showed that George Michael left all of his £98 million fortune to family and friends and left nothing to his former boyfriends Kenny Goss and Fadi Fawaz. George's sisters, Yoda and Melanie, were the main beneficiaries, with them equally sharing the major assets and George Michael's 2 London homes. Crazy day in the will reading for sure, definitely. And that's it for this day in history. Back over to you, Peter.
Think about back then you actually had to fly to the studio to go just do one word. Nowadays you can just pull out your phone, go, Cherry.
Right. Or you'll sit down at your prod studio in the corner of your bedroom and whip that out in the first place. But yeah, that was quite a change. And you know what? It actually wasn't all that long ago. Everything changes so quickly. That's one of the reasons why I like this room, because we check out these breaking headlines as things change at breakneck speed in the music industry.
Exactly.
So let's dive into some headlines, Peter.
Right on. All right. Thanks, everybody. I just want to welcome all the people that are tuning in Altspace VR. Yes. If you saw me with the headset on, yes, I had my Oculus on. I just wanted to make sure the stream was going. So how you doing out there in our virtual reality world? We have a viewing party with people on a terrace. They can also, shoot some hoop. They can roast marshmallows. We have a beanbag toss game. So you can hang out and have some fun while you're just catching up in the news on this giant screen overlooking the city. Yes, that is virtual reality. We are there. And we're going to be doing more talk shows inside virtual reality as my avatar, which is my profile picture here. And also want to shout out to everybody that is in the live stream. Great to see you. And if anybody wants to check out the live stream, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and it says live stream. It goes here and you can just click that YouTube link and that'll take you there. And also everybody else that is tuning in on Facebook and my personal Twitch. How you doing, everybody? Great to see you. Feel free to join us in the chat. So this is where we scour the World Wide Web for music business news that we think should be open for discussion. We're going to begin the reads in just a moment. And just to let you know, what we do is we start by reading key sections of media articles and open up the stage for a roundtable discussion. Feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to join the stage and offer your commentary. To stay in the know about this and all our programming, make sure to tap the green house at the top to follow Music Industry City Group. And you can register for free at musicindustrycity.com to gain access to all our updates and programming outside of Clubhouse. And make sure to follow all the green button co-hosts and our commentators as they join the stage. And now let's get to it. We are going to kick off with Blackout Tuesday. This is from Variety. And if you want to follow along with all the articles that we cover in today's show and all the shows during the Music News Power Hour during the week, you can go to musicindustrycity.com, click on the graphic that says show notes, and you can follow along with all the articles. And it's great because tomorrow is Friday. I think so. Is it? And that means it's the weekend review, and we'd love to have a big roundtable. So we'd love to have you come up here, talk about some of the articles that we covered, and anything we might have missed, bring it to the table. So let's get to it. This one is Blackout Tuesday. 1 year later, some progress, but racial parity is a long way off for the music industry. 1 year ago the other day, June 2nd, during Blackout Tuesday, during which the music industry took a work pause to protest police violence against the black community and consider its social justice policies and efforts in the wake of the murders by police of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and so many others over the years. Many major music companies pledged to donate millions of dollars, some $225 million from the majors alone over the coming years, promise to reassess their policies and diversify their staffs. 1 year later, where does it stand? Variety checked in with Binta Nyambi Brown, an attorney, head of operations and strategy at Keep Cool RCA Records, and veteran music executive who's also co-founder and co-chairman of Black Music Action Coalition. That's the BMAC. A chair of the Chicago chapter of She Is the Music, and is on the leadership council of the Black Music Collective of the Recording Academy, among other organizations. They have a full interview with her here in the article. I'm not going to go through all of that. I just want to touch upon some of the highlights here that talk about, also on June 2nd, the hashtag The Show Must Be Paused, which started the Blackout Tuesday campaign, observed the anniversary with the announcement of the, quote, still paused campaign launching immediately. Quote, as the main mission is always to hold the industry at large accountable, today, Wednesday, June 2nd, that being yesterday, the show must be paused is asking everyone to join in to help provide a public self-accountability report for all music companies as well as individual music industry professionals. In this accountability report, we are looking for 5 things that your company has done to push the industry toward equitable change in the past year. The show must be paused hashtag will provide a template graphic asking for all partners to stand in solidarity by sharing the report graphic via social media. So that's probably what you were seeing yesterday. So this is where we're talking about the 3 major music companies responding to claims of a lack of transparency with commitment and a directive to their websites. So, the Tuolami Austin Sony Music Group's executive vice president, philanthropy and social impact, said in a statement, quote, we have a responsibility to be good stewards of this fund, which means that we need to be intentional and deliberate about how the fund is utilized. We have developed a strategy plan that will help us reach our goals and objectives. So far, we've donated to more than 300 organizations and are constantly working with our global partners to scale their efforts with the on-the-ground initiatives and measurable results that are assessed over time. Whether it's through our advocacy efforts, raising public awareness across our platforms, or championing educational and training programs for overlooked and underserved communities, our company remains vigilant to creating a lasting impact. So Sony's website, again, all the links are in the article. Sony website outlines every organization which it has donated to. It's giving-back. That's Sony Music. So you can find those links in the articles. Universal Music Group's Task Force for Meaningful Change features extensive information about its organization, members, and donation recipients. And Warner Music and the Blavatnik Family Fund's website features extensive information about their social justice fund, and its annual report will be published there as well. So, and the rest of the interview is on the article, which you can find at musicindustrycity.com. Click on the show notes, or you can go to variety.com and you can find it there. And with that being said, we're going to move over to hypebot.com. This one is the International Federation of Musicians on the big pool and user-centric royalties. So user-centric royalties have been something that we've been hearing a lot more about, with SoundCloud jumping in on that and testing out changing their model. So while music streaming economy has seen major growth as a whole, many performers have not received the appropriate corresponding compensation. In this article, they outline the fundamental principles which must be implemented in order for all musicians to get what they deserve. So this was a guest post on Charlie from the Music Technology Policy. Okay, so it starts off, since the 2000, there's a little history. What they're talking about here is the implementation of the fundamental principles set out below is essential to, at last, guarantee the payment of a fair remuneration to music performers for the value transfer from their work. Such implementation must, in particular, rely on the proven mechanisms of collective management or collective bargaining. So there's a points here. I'm not going to go into it. You can go in, take a look at the article for a deeper dive. What they're talking about is right to fair remuneration. And that's all music performers, whether featured or non-featured, should receive fair remuneration for each online use of their recordings, regardless of the technology used to access or distribute them. Then they have the scope of the right of making available on demand. That goes in a lot deeper. The adaptation of remuneration schemes. So, I mean, this gets really deep. And so if this is, especially if you are a session, if you're a musician that is performing, this is really important to pay attention to. What they're also looking at is transparency and access to information. All performers must receive and be able to access detailed information concerning the use of the recordings and the payments to which they are entitled. And they're talking about the value of music, the price competition between platforms, the priority they give to enterprise market valuation. User-centric model, and this is in the vast number of cases, the pro rata distribution of streaming revenue does not remunerate the featured artist's right of making available, even when their contract provides, after the transfer, this right for the payment of royalties. Instead, it creates a hyper-efficient market share distribution of revenue, and they say this is not acceptable. They're talking about the duration of reference for the count of plays, and they're saying, finally, wrapping up, it's by limiting the economic return on very short tracks, such as an adaptation, would avoid an excessively uniform offer, or also positively affect diversity by partly redirecting payments toward less popular music genres, such as jazz or classical music. More generally, artistic creativity could be expressed more freely without time constraints, motivated by profitability partners. So, yeah, I mean, it's you're seeing a lot about, hey, in the chain of an artist's career, you see that everybody wants a slice of the pie, and rightfully so. In certain areas, you have managers, agents, labels, publishers. Yeah, slice of the pie. Yes, these are businesses. What has been always kind of left out is the other performers, and this is, we're looking at, a rise in discussions about, hey, I'm a songwriter and you're bullying me to give up percentages of my writing to performers that had nothing to do with the writing. And so we're starting to see a lot more outcry in different areas about the artists, the performers, the writers, rightfully so, saying, hey, we want more transparency. We want to have more of the pie. So it's interesting to see what is going on.
It definitely is. I just kind of want to break in and say I'm wondering if it's kind of a microcosm of the macro. We've seen a change with employment situations, and many people saying I don't want to go back to work at a job that pays barely minimum wage. Can you raise the minimum wage so that I don't have to work two jobs when I go back to work? Are we seeing almost a micro of the macro happening with artists saying the same thing? If we're going to go back to the way that things were, I need it to be skewed fairly in everyone's direction. I think this is really interesting, and I'll be following this headline.
Yeah. All right. And with that, let's talk about YouTube and CompleteMusicUpdate.com. YouTube paid $4 billion to the music industry last year and is still finding new sources of revenue for artists, says Lear Cohen. All right, the article kicks off. YouTube's global head of music, Lear Cohen, yesterday published a stats brag blog post. A stats brag blog post. I like that. I mean, this is an annual event from YouTube to remind everybody how much they have paid the music industry. So, published a stats brag blog post declaring that the Google division has paid over $4 billion to the music industry over the last year, and that it signed up more premium subscribers in the first quarter this year than in any previous quarter. Of course, when the record industry veteran Cohen first took on the YouTube role in 2016, blog posts like this were mainly about responding to the latest round of criticism of the Google video platform by the music industry. But in the last couple of years, relations between the music industry and YouTube have generally improved. Indeed, in some quarters that was already happening, even when the very public music industry versus YouTube war was underway as the safe harbor reforms in 2019. EU copyright directive would be negotiated. There are reasons why YouTube's relationship with the music industry have gotten a lot better. The launch of the standalone YouTube music streaming service, which works more like Spotify and Apple Music, was one key development, allowing Google to argue that all the free music swimming around the main YouTube platform was now directly helping to upsell the kind of premium subscriptions that have long been a priority for the record industry. However, a surge in ad sales on the main YouTube platform and a marked increase in the number of ads being served alongside videos on the service also helped, fueling an uplift in revenues the music industry receives from free video streams and user-generated content. Other logistical tools behind the scenes, making it easier for labels to link together the various strands of YouTube, the music service, music on the main platform, other artist uploads, and so on help too. So it does go down into it deeper. He talks about how it's evolved. And he talks about what he calls their quote, our twin engine approach with both ad supported and subscription tiers. He says, quote, we give users the choice to pay with their attention or their wallets. YouTube is the world's largest stage, and advertisers are eager to tap into the deep music engagement that the platform enables. With over 2 billion users watching music videos monthly, YouTube allows advertisers to reach audiences they can't find anywhere else. In addition, we added more paid members in Q1 of 2021 than in any other quarter in our history. So it goes into a lot deeper. I mean, the one takeaway, so the revenue there, it's that we're in this catch-22 in a sense. It's that we want frictionless entertainment. We want entertainment for free. We don't want to be inundated with ads. But if YouTube is making more money on ads and can sell out more money to the music industry because of those ads, well, what do we say? Oh, well, maybe we'll pay for the service, but we're going to complain either way. So we want more money to go back into the industry, but we don't want to pay, or we're going to complain about ads. It's the catch-22. I mean, I think many of us have seen the uptick in ads on YouTube, and what they implemented months ago was normally it used to be that ads were only served on an account. So if I was a YouTube streamer, not a YouTube streamer, a YouTuber, and so I was I had to be a verified account, and so I can monetize. Great. That they would serve ads on. Now they were saying even if you aren't, if you're just any YouTube account, we're going to throw ads on there whether you want it or not. So that's great. They can make some money, and those 5-second ads. But it's gotten really bad. Now there's 2 ads. Some are the 15 seconds. You can't non-skippables, followed by a 40-second with a 6-second skip. They moved from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Then they have mid-rolls. So it's really, now they're kind of forcing you. I mean, I've never hit a button that says no thanks more than I've told YouTube no thanks to paying for this. Now it's like, hey, something, I might start paying for this just so I don't have to watch any more ads.
Yeah, I was just going to say, does YouTube think that anyone is ever going to not skip ad? Does it occur to them that no one is going to avoid the skip ad button if at all possible?
Well, I think that a lot of people must not skip the ads because advertisers are paying the money, and YouTubers are making advertising dollars. So if people skip the ad, YouTube doesn't charge them for that view.
Well, does YouTube still charge even if at least they serve the 5 seconds? Isn't there some kind of no at all? Wow,
No.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And but I agree with you. YouTube is becoming unusable. Just too many ads, and when they put in the interstitial ads in the middle, there's doesn't seem to be someone really paying attention to where those ads go, because they'll cut off a sentence in the middle. It just ads suddenly pop up in places where they don't even make sense.
Right. And
can I make a quick comment? Sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no accounting also as to where that $4 billion goes in terms of how much goes to labels and artists and how much goes to publishers and writers. It doesn't explain that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the author sort of YouTube published a stats brag blog post, and again, yes, it's where does this money go? Is it going out to the labels? Is it going out to individuals? Who is considered a musician? If I just have distribution or something, it's complex. But if they can say they allocated $4 billion, it sure makes a great looking headline for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Mike, just to go back to your thing, yes, and I agree that, and if you have a video over 10 minutes or 12 minutes, I can't remember exactly, but then you as the creator can add more advertising in there, and we don't know So while I'm watching, it's like, well, did the creator put that ad, a mid-roll ad? Because as a creator, you can slide it. You can say, this is where I want. But I agree with you. Is like, this is what is ruining the factor is, if we're watching television, there's natural commercial breaks. Scene fades out, goes to commercial. It comes back, you pick up where you left off, or a new scene. And is that going to mean something that YouTube creators are going to start changing their format of, putting any more time to put in a natural break?
I'm not 100% sure on this. I know that in my podcasting app I host on Megaphone, I can mark in the episode where I want them to insert an interstitial or dynamically inserted ad. I'm sorry. On YouTube, I believe that functionality exists, but I think it also exists where you can just kind of say, yeah, it's okay to advertise on here, and then YouTube will just go ahead and insert them wherever their AI decides to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So, either but also as a content creator, sometimes there is no good spot to, when you have a 10-minute piece or an 8-minute segment or 14 minutes, it's sometimes hard to because of the type of format that it is being produced as. A lot of these don't have, scene cuts. It is, here's an unboxing video. So where do you put in, here's the story or something or a review. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. We can talk about this even more in a bit. So we're going to go over to Music Ally. And this is the other turntable launches its social music app. And we talked about this earlier this week or last week. Time is an illusion. I can't remember. But TurntableFM is back. And if anybody remembers that from about a decade ago, that was fun for the month that it lasted. Well, it's back, but it's in 2 different forms. And both are trying to say that they are the OG. All right, and this is, so the other turntable launches its social music app. We've got a confusing few months ahead. Whenever we're writing about Turntable, we'll need to explain which of the 2 revived versions of the famous social media music service we're talking about. Last month, and this is from the article, last month we wrote about the one being launched by original Turntable founder Billy Chasen, raising $7.5 million in funding. Today's news concerns the other one, launched by another veteran of the original startup, Joseph Perla. His version has raised $2 million in funding and yesterday launched as an Android and iOS app as well as a website. The basic gist remains the same: users as avatars gathering in rooms to listen to music, which in this case is coming via integrations with Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud, with YouTube to follow. Quote, we are also now engaging with the music industry to bring music directly to fans with no required third-party logins later this year, said Perla. So, I mean, it was interesting that the original Turntable, it was tt.org or something like that, brought it back. That's the second one. That's not the original one. They brought it back, and then they did a crowdfunding, and you could sign up for early access. And then Billy got wind of that, and they definitely aren't getting along. Billy got wind of that and said, "Well, I'm going to bring back the original Turntable, and because he has the website." So Turntable FM, they started rolling out, and then Billy got $7.5 million in fuck you money to play with. So I think this is going to really heat up and be interesting, and see what happens. It's a race. It's going to be a race to see who is the turntablist of the year. And will anybody care?
I can think of better things in the music industry that $9 million should be spent on.
Absolutely. Like musicindustrycity.com.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, it's turntable, you're resurrecting, it's Pet Cemetery. What's going to happen? I mean, this was fun while it lasted. There was licensing issues. I mean, they're working out the licensing. But with everything, with new technologies and live streaming and VR and all this engagement, is it something that's even going to, are people going to use it or care? Is it just going to be another, the Staples "that was easy" button? You press the button once and the novelty wore off.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's move across.
Ah, the Staples easy button.
I should get that. I should get that as a little soundbite. That was easy. All right, we are
Nice.
going to move across the pond really quick to Complete Music Update, and this one talks about a youth music to launch fund for young music entrepreneurs. Music charity Youth Music will open its next gen fund for young people starting out in the music industry. Recipients will be given up to £2,500 to launch a project, idea, or business. Quote, the project lead, Elijah Kushine, says, we want to give people the confidence to make it happen for themselves. This generation is building a fairer new industry, taking ownership of their work and imagining roles that don't even exist yet. But they don't all have the financial means to realize their ambitions. We want to rebuild an industry where every young person can see themselves contribute and make a difference. This fund is a big step towards a more sustainable, inclusive, and exciting music industry. Ahead of the launch of the fund, which is backed by TikTok and the People's Postcode Lottery, the charity has also published new research. The survey of 1,000 respondents found that 79% of young people entering the music industry would prefer to set up their own project rather than take up a traditional role within an existing company. Unsurprisingly, the biggest barrier to this, said respondents, is access to finance. The Youth Music Next Gen Fund is open to professionals, artists, and entrepreneurs working in music aged 18 to 25 and up to 30 years old for those identifying as disabled. And there's links into the article if you want to find out more about this. And you can find this article at musicindustrycity.com. And when you get to musicindustrycity.com, you can register for free if you want. But you can also click on the show notes and you'll see all the articles. And with that being said, let's check in with Eli.
Indeed, indeed. Let's go ahead and check in with me. And don't forget to check in with your friends as you are enjoying the Music News Power Hour today. We are here from 12 to 1 Eastern every weekday, Monday through Friday. Go ahead and ping your friends in with the plus sign at the bottom of the room. In case your friends are not already here, make sure they can join the conversation. If you have a question or a comment, you can chime in by raising your hand in the clubhouse room or by chiming in the chat with your question or your comment. Make sure that you follow the moderators. These are the speakers on stage with the green moderator icon next to them. You can also tap the green icon that looks like a house at the top of the room. That will allow you to join the Music Industry City Club so that you have access to all the updates here on Clubhouse, but also make sure that you register for free on musicindustrycity.com, where you can also watch our video stream. We are not just here on audio, we are here on video. So if you'd like to see what we look like as we try to read through some of these proofreading errors in these articles, please do tune in and join us on musicindustrycity.com, where you can see the live stream of the Music News Power Hour each weekday, 12 to 1 Eastern. We hope you can join us. And don't forget, our Friday Week in Review is coming up. We've covered a lot of articles this week, a lot of breaking news in the music biz. So if there's anything that we have covered this week, please visit musicindustrycity.com to check out some of the articles and headlines that we've discussed this week, and then join our Friday Week in Review discussion tomorrow, right here, 12 to 1 Eastern, as we kind of review all of the headlines that we've checked out this week. A lot going on in the music biz. Things are changing every day. So thank you so much for being part of our discussion and our broadcast. But let's get back to some headlines. Peter?
Right on. We're going to just, thank you for that, Eli. We are going to stay on the UK for just one more moment. This is from Record of the Day, and UK Music and Music for Dementia joins forces on groundbreaking Power of Music survey. And so the survey is to show how music can play a more vital role in improving health and well-being. As part of the project, the collective voice for the music industry and the campaign have launched a nationwide Power of Music survey. The survey, which is open to everyone, organizations, and individuals, will contribute findings to further discussions with government about the right policy interventions needed to enhance music's role in health and well-being. So it goes on. I mean, there's going to be links to where you can take the survey and everything. The decision to undertake the survey followed a top-level meeting in April when UK Music and Music for Dementia brought together government ministers, music industry and healthcare leaders, charities, and other stakeholders to discuss the benefits to health and well-being that music can bring. So talk about, in recent years, that has been increasing evidence to show the power of music can have in supporting those with a variety of conditions, including dementia, depression, autism, and those in need of end-of-life support. According to the BPI's All About the Music 2021, 94% said music helped lift their mood during lockdown, and 73% said that they felt more able to manage their anxiety levels thanks to listening to music during the pandemic. The Creative Health, the Arts and Health and Wellbeing report from the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Arts, Health, Wellbeing said that music therapy reduced agitation and the need for medication in 67% of those with dementia. And in a study in 2017 by the American Journal of Hospice and Palliative Medicine revealed 96% of patients in a controlled study had positive responses to music therapy. Vocal and emotional interventions were two of the most effective means of improving symptoms, which included pain, anxiety, depression, shortness of breath, and mood. Yes, last night a DJ saved my life. No, this is really, yeah, I'm all for this. Just the effects that music has, and sound. I mean, sound in general. I know a lot of people are like binaural beats and things like that. I mean, this is all it's sound and it's music.
Definitely, definitely. And let's not forget, too, that if you're a young med student graduating from college, you might take for granted that you will need to save somebody's life with your education someday. But let's not forget that musicians can save somebody's life, too. As a musician, you might never know that you're saving somebody's life with your art, with your music. You might never know how deeply you're touching them because you don't get that bedside conversation that a surgeon or an ER doctor gets when they save a patient's life. But as a musician, you also have the power to save lives with your art. But the crazy thing is, you just might not even know it. The power of music is so mighty indeed. I love this headline.
Yeah, this is great. I look forward to the results of the survey and everything. I know Clubhouse has been having a little issues. I see somebody raise their hand. I know I pinged somebody up, so just bear with us if we're trying to get you up here. So,
yes, I see someone with a hand raised, and I keep inviting to speak, and it doesn't seem to be wanting to work. So it looks like we may be having a glitch. Please bear with us. We're trying to bring you up, and you can go ahead and raise your hand. And possibly, if you're having trouble coming on stage with a hand raise, maybe unraise your hand and re-raise your hand and see if maybe that's makes it more possible for us to bring you up, because it looks like we may be having some fun Clubhouse glitches going on here. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, there was a recent update on Clubhouse, so you never know what happens. All right, we are going to change direction here, and we're going to talk about porta potties. Yes, that's where we're going. We are talking about porta potties because we are going to be talking about music festivals and everything. And but the porta potties are the biggest part of the music festival, aren't they? So this is in CNN. A lot of people are waiting for porta potties, and not just folks who need to go. So the article starts off, after more than a year of staying at home, avoiding crowds and other COVID-19 precautions, many Americans are looking forward to a summer of festivals, concerts, road races, and other large events. That has porta potty suppliers and manufacturers scrambling to make sure that they have enough toilets to go around. Torino Waste Services, a family-owned liquid and solid waste company based in Portland, Maine, ordered 100 new portable toilets in March to add to its fleet between 1,500 and 2,000 porta potties. The company's hoping they'll be ready to ship next week. They were saying it was definitely a longer lead time than they've ever seen before, and portable toilet makers are facing a double whammy of high demand and supply chain issues that are making it difficult and more expensive to get the raw materials they need. Throw in a high demand for workers and truck drivers, and you got a recipe for a challenging environment, according to John Babcock, president of Satellite Industries, which is a leading producer of portable toilets, restroom trailers, and other related supplies. He says, even though we're dramatically increasing our capacities, it's still not keeping up with the demand. So they talk about some other opportunities, but they said the concert venues are starting to open up, and the road races seem like they're starting, and the festivals are talking about coming back in late summer. He said his company retooled some of their production lines last year and make sinks and hand washing stations, which has created a whole new product line. But he's like, we were all caught by surprise on how fast the economic recovery hit, and then how rapid the rise in demand for our products were. So it's just kind of interesting. Like, hey, is this going to be a challenge? We've talked about this as live opens back up in these festivals, and it's like crews. Is there going to be enough equipment? Is there going to be enough buses? Is there going to be enough, just for rentals and everything? And, add porta potties to it. I mean, we already hate the lines and the smell, and, we just want to bathe ourselves in Purell after we leave one of those. But, it could be something of an issue.
Well, there are an awful lot of shortages going on right now as things have changed through the pandemic. For example, rental car fleets have been sold off all over the country, and so as you were saying, it's very difficult to find a rental car. It's difficult to find a tour bus. Several have been decommissioned or sold off during the pandemic. But I'll tell you one thing I definitely don't want to see a shortage of is porta potties at festivals. So let's make sure we get that fixed.
There was the Roskilde Festival in Denmark has one of the greatest things. They're called pea trees, because they have there's little islands where there's trees around the festival grounds, and they're just little urinals that go a few feet into the ground, and they just call them pea trees. And then people, it's like, oh, I gotta go, and it's like you can just go over there. So, but
just go hide in the trees. I like that.
You don't even hide. That's the thing. They are very open there. I mean, Roskilde Festival. They start off with a naked run. It starts off with they open the gates. And it's a big race where everybody just starts running in naked. Well, not everybody, but it's called the naked run. People they just go wherever they're not shy. They're like, hey, listen, we're people. We all do this. So I love it. Roskilde is one of my favorite.
You either have what I have or you've seen what I have. We're all adults here.
Yeah, Roskilde is one of my favorite music festivals. It is such a great time. But that being said, if you don't want to talk about that, let's talk about live streaming. And this is from .la, and it says, with in-person concerts back, what will happen to live streaming audience? And in California, venues have received a provisional go-ahead to open at full capacity by June 15th, so long as statewide COVID numbers continue their downward trend. But 15 months after venues shuttered, the music world has changed. Tech companies, musicians, and even in-person concert promoters have built an entirely new ecosystem around live streaming shows, evolving them into a slicker and more well-produced medium than existed before the pandemic. Events companies' labels have invested big in new live streaming technology. Even musicians have come to love some of the flexibility and direct content that these new, sometimes more lucrative formats allow. Live stream shows will likely remain a permanent fixture in the music industry, yet the extent to which this new medium expands and adapts depends on the most important stakeholder of all, fans. So far, it seems clear that fans are ready for in-person shows to return. Live Nation's, the world's biggest concert promoter, reported that sales for 2020 tours are up double digits compared to the same period pre-pandemic. Over 80% of the fans have opted to hold on to their tickets for shows that were postponed during the pandemic rather than request a refund. But there are also signs that fans like live streaming. Amazon-owned Twitch has seen music streaming grow 550% on its platform year over year, according to the company. And also, Arjun Mehta, CEO of LA-based live streaming platform Moment House, said over 150,000 users have voluntarily given their phone numbers to receive twice monthly notifications about upcoming shows. And Live by Live, a publicly traded Beverly Hills-based digital music company, says it's seen live streaming views grow by 533% year over year. The company forecasts that its 2021 revenues will be between 100 and 110 million, up from a 2020 high point of 38.7 million. So they're talking about, it still feel like it's too early to be able to come up with real insights. There just hasn't been enough time or volume yet, and a lot of these events have been like trees falling in the forest, said Tim Westergren, the founder of Pandora, who now runs live streaming platform Sessions at a recent panel hosted by Music Ally. So you can find out more at Music Ally there. They go into it deeper, and it's talking about, regardless of the exact numbers, most observers agree that beaming a live show across the internet can draw a bigger crowd. And the quote from Mehta says, it's a way for venues to drive incremental revenue, which at scale adds up. But it's not necessarily as great of an experience as it can be for the fans. That's why he and others are most intrigued by what live streaming can do as a medium that embraces its primary purpose as a digital experience. Talk about Travis Scott's concert in the popular video game Fortnite last April was an early example of this. The event featured Scott performing as a gigantic digitized version of himself in a virtual universe where the laws of physics don't apply. Wave followed later in the summer with shows from John Legend and The Weeknd, with the added twist that the avatar representing the artist was being controlled in real time by the real artist. Creativity has continued, and insiders say there's plenty of room for more. So, it goes into a lot more detail here. It's a great article. I encourage you to check it out in its full glory. With that, let's go back to live events. And this is from New York Times. And this is looks nice for Brooklyn. And this is I like what they're doing for artists in this one. This is why I brought this to the table. And this one is New York's concert scene gets a lavish new edition called Brooklyn Made. And it's the 500 capacity live venue in Bushwick will offer unique perks to musicians who play there, including a private pool and use of a loft apartment. Of course, so the article starts off reviewing what's happened in the last year. We all know, but on September 30th, Brooklyn Made, a new club in Bushwick, Brooklyn, will open with 2 nights featuring Jeff Tweedy of Wilco. Everything about the space is planned as deluxe and high concept, from the Moroccan lamps adorning the 500 capacity performance space to the adjoining cafe and rooftop deck. Visiting artists will find an impossibly luxurious spread, including a private pool and use of a loft apartment with striking views of the Manhattan skyline. It's one of a handful of changes to the post-pandemic New York concert scene, including the return of Irving Plaza, the landmark rock club off Union Square that will reopen in August after a 2-year multi-million-dollar renovation. And for Brooklyn Made, the club's very existence is a bullish bet on the return of live music and the nighttime economy in New York, said Anthony Makes, a longtime player in the New York concert world who's one of the principals behind the new club. Quote, I believe in the future, and I think everyone's going to come back. Makes said on the recent tour of the space where construction machines were still whirring away. In the sunny apartment, one level up, wasn't always so quiet. So they already started announcing their lineups. They have Trombone Shorty, Baron of Horses. It will be the latest independent operator in the local scene dominated by the Live Nation and AEG. To stand out in a hyper-competitive market, Brooklyn Made wants to cater to concert goers as well to artists. For fans, the club will present itself as an all-day hang in the heart of hipster Brooklyn, with the cafe opening from morning till night. The live room will feature up-to-the-minute lighting and sound. So there's a lot of they have some photos in the Times article. So it's really it's looking really cool. And here's another interesting thing is about the finances. So the money, it starts off here, money makes a difference too. The club has already developed a reputation among talent agents for aggressive offers. Make said that in many cases, Brooklyn Made will pay artists virtually the entire face value of tickets, an arrangement more common among superstar tourists than in razor-thin margins in the club business. Quote, we are basically giving them the gross of the ticket sales, which he called unheard of in this modern era of doing business. Makes 52 set up his promotion company last year, is the former president of Live Nation's New York office, and he has also worked at the Bowery Presents, which is half owned by AEG. Brooklyn Made will now compete with those companies for bookings. So it goes into a little bit more here. It's I like the fact what they're doing is offering up more and then more than just a lousy, smelly, rundown green room for artists. They are offering some perks. They're making them feel like, hey, you're a person, you're human, you deserve to be treated well for being a performer, being an entertainer. And so, I like this. And the ticket sales, gross always sounds good. Sounds better than net.
That's what really struck me, and that's really exciting to me to hear that. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of a change. Who knows?
I like it. All right, Eli, I want to just do a quick little, you want to check in with the weather? Because I need a drink of water.
Alrighty, yeah, let's definitely check in with the weather. We are moving soon into the Spotify spot, which will be our segment of the reads where we look at music and digital technology. But before we do that, we do want to check in with the weather. We have listeners and streamers joining us from all over the world, but we do have a local weather update for everybody on stream. Thankfully, we do see a little bit of a break in the weather from yesterday because we have seen fire and we have seen rain. Back over to you, Peter.
Thanks. Now that's going to be stuck in my head. You have earwormed me and half the audience here.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that. All right, let's
and
get
2/3 of the stage.
And 2/3.
Yes. Why do you think I said it? Because I completed the 3/3 of the stage that was stuck in my head already. So welcome to my head.
Thank you for passing that along. All right, and with that being said,
Big green dot. It's the spot.
It is the Spotify spot. So what's a day without talking about Spotify? This one is from themusicnetwork.com. Once again, you can check out all the articles and the links to them in our show notes, which is at musicindustrycity.com. Just go to musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes graphic. Or you can also register for free. It takes 2 seconds, and you get all the emails about, the networking events that we're doing, the other stuff we do outside of Clubhouse, the live streaming, the VR, and a lot of, we're going to be in-person events coming up soon. So keep an eye out for that. All right, Spotify launches Only You brand campaign and in-app experience. So it starts. So Spotify has launched a new individualized in-app experience, Only You, which it will also push as part of a brand campaign. The new offering draws from an individual's Spotify history to create personalized playlists that reveal the uniqueness of their listening habits, with users then being encouraged to share their findings across their own social platforms. After listening data is processed, Spotify Only You allows for each user to explore a range of interconnected categories. These include their audio birth chart. Maybe that's why we've been seeing a lot. If you looked at your Instagram feed and you're like, "What's this audio birth chart?" Yes, these include their audio birth chart, which depicts the listener's top artists from the last 6 months, an artist that shows their emotional side, the moon, and an artist that recently connected with Rising, as well as their dream dinner party, which groups together 3 artists the listener would invite to their dream dinner party and tailors a unique Spotify mix playlist for each corresponding artist. Other categories include artist pairs, which highlight the unique audio or genre pairing the listener has recently engaged with, as well as song of the year and time of day, which respectively showcase how the listener interacts with music from different time periods and what kind of content they listen to throughout different stages of the day. And finally, genre topics seek to inform customers on how their music and podcast genres differentiate them. To coincide with the campaign, Spotify has also detailed plans to roll out a new personalized feature named Blend, which is currently in its beta testing phase and can be accessed within the app's Only You hub. Blend will allow for 2 friends to merge their musical tastes into a single shared curated playlist, which will be updated daily and grow over time as each listener's habits evolve. Spotify will promote the initiative using the listening habits of someone who listens to, says, Lil Nas X and Harry Styles. There will also be local iterations of the creative featuring unique stats about local creators, including Amy Shark, Lime Cordell, and search engine sex. So, yeah, I mean, this looks like fun. Now it's, after reading that, they seen that this morning, I was like, that explains why my Instagram feed was, all these Spotify birth charts. I'm like, what is this? All right. Yeah, but, I like it. I got to say, this seems like a lot of fun. And I'm into it. Anybody else started playing with this? You know who your sun rising artist would be, Eli?
I'm going to have to find this out because I don't have any of this information, and that may be what's wrong with my life. So I need to get on this and check this out. I have not even heard of this, and like I said, that might be what's wrong with my life. I'm not looking at it from a musical astrological standpoint. I'm really curious about this.
Yes, I need to know who my artist's moon sign is.
Yeah, I realized that my spirit animal is a friend of mine who plays her trumpet on empty subway cars very early in the morning when she's the only person on the subway car. I did recently realize that's my spirit animal. So let me look at my artist rising.
It's the billboard. There's a billboard version of the article as well, and the title is called "Spotify's New Data Marketing Campaign Embraces Users' Oddest Listening Habits." Yeah, say no more. If anybody wants to jump up on the stage and join us for any commentary that we had, that you may have about any of the topics that we discuss, or if there's something that we missed, feel free to join us up on the stage, and we'll bring you on up. And we covered a lot. I still have a couple more articles that we could get to, but I wanted to open this up for anybody that wanted to offer us some commentary. I know we've been having a tough time pinging people up. If you've raised your hand,
Wayne, I've tried to invite you to the stage. There we
Wayne
go.
has
I'm
made
glad
it.
it worked. And we apologize to anybody who's been experiencing some Clubhouse glitches with us today. We've been having trouble getting people up to the stage to speak today.
Hey, Wayne.
Hi guys. First of all, Eli, I love your spirit animal. That's hilarious. That's just great. And
awesome. Thanks. It's good to see you, Wayne. Yeah, that's definitely my spirit animal. Somebody who plays trumpet on an empty subway car. Yes.
I mean, I wish I could do that. I mean, so I had a question about the whole YouTube ads thing, and my apologies. There are people running jackhammers right next to my house. So if you hear banging and clanging in the background, that's what's going on. My question is, so is there like and I pay for YouTube Premium, so I actually don't know. This is why I'm asking. So if you have a YouTube video up, like let's say it's like it's a jazz tune, it's like 5 or 6 minutes long, are they going to put an ad like in the middle of a tune or something like that? Because that would just be terrible. Or would they just do it like before? Is there a rule on like how many minutes a video has to go for before an ad interrupts it, or is it just sort of like a free-for-all?
Yes and no. Mike?
Yes and no. Dear God.
I got a call right in the middle of the question, so I didn't hear the full question. But my understanding is that there are minimum there are rules around this that Google's algorithm automatically follows. I believe those rules are explained in the ad creation process if you're doing that. I'm sorry, the content creation process when you're setting your account up to be able to run ads. But I don't have a more specific answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's like 10 minutes or 12 minutes is a threshold for to be able to add maybe mid-roll. But the thing is, if it comes to like a music video, they're not adding mid-rolls into a music video. I think that YouTube will determine that, no, this is a music video. We don't want to interrupt a video. And that's probably why the mid-rolls won't engage until a certain time threshold. And still, they'll probably at that point say, they'll look and say, is this a music video? Because the way you categorized it. And if it is, they'll know if it's primary music because, they track everything. I mean, for closed captioning, they have everything in there. That's why they actually say for YouTube content creators is to utilize your title and say, if you want to talk about Spotify, since we were talking about Spotify. So we talk about Spotify, you have Spotify, in the title, then make sure in your description you have Spotify. And if you're talking about Spotify, say Spotify, and Google knows that it's now in 3 places. So, because they are transcribing in the background, that's why there are closed captioning, and Google and the search algorithm looks for all those 3. The fact of putting mid-roll placements, I don't know if Google's YouTube is doing that for a certain, again, another threshold, but I can't put a mid-roll in until I cross a threshold. And if anybody else out there has more experience with this, please feel free to raise your hand.
This sounds like one of those topics that if we wanted to, we could start a whole room about information and tips and advice on advertising through YouTube and making the most of your advertising and monetization dollars on YouTube. And don't forget, there are a lot of opportunities to monetize on a lot of platforms across the web. Artists are finding ways to monetize not just on YouTube, but on Twitch and Discord. Speaking of, we would like to say hello to our Discord viewers. Hello, thanks for joining us. And thank you so much to our Twitch streamers for tuning in today on Twitch. We are the Music News Power Hour. We are here every weekday from 12 to 1 Eastern. We are streaming on your favorite streaming platform, or you can join the discussion on Clubhouse. Don't forget, as we close out our Music News Power Hour today, that you can follow your moderators. These are the speakers on the stage with the green moderator icon. You can also touch the green house-shaped icon at the top of the room to join the Music Industry City Club and get updates about all of the rooms on Clubhouse. Don't forget, too, that you can register for free on musicindustrycity.com, where you can find out about all information on Music Industry City, not just Clubhouse, but events off of Clubhouse and in virtual reality as well. For my co-host Peter Schwing, my name is Eli Window, and we both want to thank you so much for joining our discussion and our broadcast today. But don't forget, there's more from Music Industry City than just the Music News Power Hour. Peter, tell us about it.
Right on. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're rolling out the community. We are going to have some ambassadors, chapter leaders. There's a whole lot going on. The platform's really being rolled out, so you can be you want to be part of the show. We're rolling out more programming soon. So if you're registered for free now, it's free now. Hint, hint, it's free now to get. You'll be grandfathered into all of the extra services that'll be rolling out in the next few months. And we'd love to hear your feedback, anything that we can do for you, what type of content you're looking for. We send out 2 emails a week, and we also have the playlists, and everything's in the show notes. So we have Martina does a great job as our music curator. We have that in the music hall. She then, for Friday, so join us in the Monday morning room, the Good Day Music Room at 11 a.m. on Friday. And we do artist shout outs. So it's like you're hanging out with your friends and you say, hey, you got to check out this artist. Could be new, could be old. We add that to the list, and then Martina creates a playlist for that. And then she does the song and pick of the week. So you get the bragging rights if she picked the artist that you shouted out. So there's a lot going on. We're also doing special events for our residents. And by residents, we mean subscribers and people who have signed up. So be on the lookout for those emails to everyone that has already subscribed to musicindustrycity.com. You're going to be getting a separate email coming up soon about a networking event that we're going to be doing, and looking forward to that. So thank you again, Eli. Thank you for everybody who's jumped on the stage and offers their commentary. And again, if you see an article, you can hit me up on Instagram, send me an article, and I thank Elliot, who is not here today. He's actually on site working sound for an event. So, and Elliot was the one that was kind enough to send me the porta potties, the article about the porta potties. So, once again, everybody, thank you. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Good Day Music World, 11 a.m. Eastern, and then the Music News Power Hour Weekend Review. So bring it. Tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Have a great one. Thanks, Eli.
Thanks, Peter. And thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great day today.